All right, welcome back. Episode 64 of the Young Old Heads podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tommy, aka TV Sports Cards, and I'm here with my good friend and co-host Max, aka Cards Max, aka Cards Max, Maxian Edition. Max, how are you doing?
Good. We're at episode 64. That's almost the highest number I can count to. I can't count past 74. I don't know what number comes next. But good to know that we're still in like the counting number territory here. I can put it all on my fingers and it works out. And I am spent. I know we are the day after Saturday, which is college football day, and we're not college football day, but we're here to talk some college football.
We are here to talk college football with the Young Old Heads college football correspondent. The first correspondent in the history of Young Old Heads, I think, for a specific topic. But Gabe, we're here with Gabe at Gabey Card Stacks on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. Gabe, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for having me. Long time listener, first time guest. So excited to be here.
Yeah, people might recognize Gabe from many call outs throughout the years of the many years that we've been doing this podcast that Gabe has been shouted out at least 5 years. Especially at the special edition national episode, which is live on YouTube right now. If you haven't listened, Gabe had some great questions for us. But Gabe, you want to introduce yourself? Who is Gabey Card Stacks? There's Gabe, but then Gabey Card Stacks is the one who's here on this episode. So what's your focus? What do you do in the card game?
And who's in your profile picture?
So my profile picture is me with a baby Snapchat filter from like 3 years ago. And so Gabey Card Stacks is like my card persona, which people at work have like found my YouTube. There are two directors in my office and they're like, "Are you Gabey Card Stacks? Like that picture looks like you." So that's been like my life for the last 2 weeks. But yeah, it's just my card life that I have my separate account for. And I mean, in the card world, I've kind of evolved over the last 3 years since I got back into it. Obviously, collected as a kid. Looking back on it, it was all like Fairfield stuff and just like junk wax that I just like looking at stats. Once I got back into it, like peak pandemic, much like everyone else, started out with like Topps Chrome football and like baseball, like Vladdy Jr., Kyle Lewis, Luis Robert, like all those guys. And then kind of started shifting into Bowman baseball, just very popular in Phoenix with just all the spring training and complex league and all that. Then finally, and not until last year's draft, so 2022, got into modern football. And that was when I kind of started flourishing and growing a little bit more, getting more interest, kind of just started to go a little bit more into it and realized like, hey, like I can kind of find my niche here. And then everything kind of took over. I feel like at the beginning of this year, told myself I was really going to go all in on cards. And now I've kind of found my way onto YouTube and also Bowman University and kind of found my niche here. So that's kind of the general overview of who Gabey Card Stacks is.
So you're telling me you read the backs of baseball cards or sports cards in general? You read
the backs. I mean, I used to when I was a kid like that, like, because I didn't know any of those people. It was like 1987, 1986, and I was 6-7 years old. So I just liked looking at the stats and just reading it.
Sounds like an old head to me.
We're in the dark ages of the backs of sports cards. I feel like, I feel like this is like there's never been a less inspired time for them.
Yeah, you're just getting one year's worth of stats and maybe a little blurb of a season highlight.
Yeah, but Gabe, I think just to hit on the topics that the people that maybe are fresh in people's mind when it comes to college football, modern football. Big news came out that there's Bowman Chrome U was coming out. Was that like an expected release that it's coming out in like a couple weeks, or was that kind of a surprise drop by Topps?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of a surprise because last year's set was dropped on February 22nd, which of like this year, like 2023. So like college football, the playoffs already happened. Like we're 2 months out from the draft. So I was expecting like a similar timeline and just kind of hopeful that maybe we'd get a little earlier. I mean, I know they're getting out product of like NFL rookies in Jersey now. So they're like definitely well ahead of schedule on a lot of stuff, but I was not expecting October 1st to drop, and it was like pre-order coming soon, and then the product itself was coming out like 3 weeks later. So that was a complete surprise to me, which is great because that's like the halfway point of the college football season. So for prospecting sake, you can still get in, and then of course everything leading up to the draft, and then guys who are still in college for the following year. But that was completely surprising to me, but it was a great surprise.
Yeah, I know, Max, did you see the thing about how Panini's dropping like every single football product in the next 6 weeks because most people are speculating it's because of the NFLPA?
No, I've been living under a rock. That's not facetious. I have been living under a rock. This is news to me.
Yeah. So, I mean, if this is the last year of Panini, then it seems like we're going to get all you can handle in the next 6 weeks.
Well, it's effective immediately, right? Or immediately in quotes, but isn't that the word?
I think what Paul Lesko said is like 90 days to get rid of all their stuff, and they're gonna do. They're as sure as hell gonna do it. I wonder if we're gonna actually see like cheap blasters or something now, or I don't know exactly how that works. But Gabe, are there any products that you're looking forward to in this last year of Panini?
I mean, I don't necessarily have a go-to product. I guess like Prism Optic are just the two that are easiest for me to move on like a flipping perspective. And then like collecting wise, like I'm hopeful there's Topps Chrome that'll be coming back, and then really just anything collegiate as well. But nothing too crazy in particular with product wise, but just Bowman University in general, Topps wise. That is, I think I'm ready for Topps to take over.
Yeah,
take over.
Well, I personally think that Panini did an underrated job with college football products, and maybe that's a hot take, but I'm interested to see if is Bowman going to be the only college product? Are they going to start making like pro debut? Like, what do you think, Gabe? If you had to predict what Topps does with college cards going forward?
Yeah, I mean that's interesting to think about, like a pro debut type. I mean they have Bowman U, they had Bowman Best and Bowman Inception, which Best I don't really know why it was really a product, to be honest, because it was kind of a recycle of everyone. And just, I mean, I like the Bowman Best design. I guess it is pretty cool. They dropped kind of like the bottom 20% of the Bowman U checklist and added newer guys into the mix. So that was kind of fun. And then Bowman Inception was a mix of basketball and football all in one products. Like that was with Kalen Clark, Victor Wembanyama, and then you have like Bryce Young as well. So for me personally, I'm not a baskets guy, but I still appreciate that they have the football side of it. But yeah, I'm unsure of what they would do just in terms of additional products. Pro debut, something like that would be pretty sick, though.
Yeah, I know. Well, they're also doing. I know I've seen they're doing Max's favorite product, Topps now.
Oh, yeah.
Bowman U now.
Are right? Any of these cards on card, or are they all sticker autos?
For Bowman, like the college
Bowman U series.
Bowman U is on card. There's like half and half of Bowman Best is on sticker and on card, and then Inception I think is a little bit of mix as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I guess it just depends.
They very famously got Wembanyama to sign on card, so
yeah,
or at least for some of them. But I don't know. I was a fan of Prism draft picks. I think it's cool. I think they kind of overdid it with as Panini does, they overdo it with like the kind of retired guys and like the older vets. It's like it would be way more fun if it was just a way more in-depth college product, and I feel like that's where they're going to go with.
But like, imagine if they were just one draft picks product. That's almost what we had with the Bowman University series.
Yeah, but Topps is not going to. They're not. That's Topps. They're not going to stop there. I bet you.
We had like 20 collegiate products. Like we would have every collegiate product. Like we'd have NT, we'd have Flawless, we'd have Immaculate, we'd have Prism, we now had Select,
Chronicles.
We had Score, which I think is technically the first one in NFL logos, not even NFL unis, NFL logos. It's like we had every normal iteration of Panini products, and then you get the NFL products.
Yeah, Gabe, give me the power ranking, your personal power rankings of Panini college football products. Or at least the ones that you collect, because you very famously collect what
he is a collector.
What does your collection consist of?
So my collection, at least for like, I'd say my mainstay, like my staple is University of Arizona patch autos. That's like anytime I can get like a sick patch of any. I mean, Arizona's tough because like they don't get a lot of guys in product. Like there's just not that a lot of guys that they've been producing. Hopefully with basketball, there's a couple guys that are coming up. Like football doesn't really come by. It's usually just Gronk being recycled and maybe some Nick Foles. But I do love like the National Treasures, the Flawless, and then Prism is usually pretty good with like a draft picks of getting some guys in there, and that's where I'll do golds, which luckily for me as well, like Arizona is very affordable. It's not like I'm going out and buying like your Golden State stuff, right? Where it's like you're paying up for that. Like I can get like we'll talk about it later, but I got a gold auto today on eBay for $10. So that to me is fun to be able to get that. Oh, cracked ice, one of my favorites from Contenders as well. So that's kind of my mainstay. And then I guess off to the side is my still related to school, I guess, but high school, Corona del Sol. So that has sent a couple of guys to the league. Marvin Bagley, he was only there for 1 year, but he won a state championship. So I'll count it. Dalen Terry was there for like 2-3 years, double PC. He went to Arizona and then is with the Bulls now, first round pick. And then Alex Barcelo, oddly enough, he was there all 4 years, didn't go to the league, but he made it in Prism draft. And that was cool. He went to Arizona, got no playing time, went to BYU and lit it up there. And then I'm blanking on one other. Oh, Saban Lee. He was there all 4 years, went to Vanderbilt, and then got draft picks there as well. And then went to the Pistons, now with the Suns. So those are kind of like my mainstay. And then Top Chrome football. That would be my last piece, but very selective on those guys.
Tommy, you're muted.
You're muted.
Classic. I'm just saying, Gabe, you don't collect like pro teams at all. You're all about high school connects and then the college alum.
Yeah, like growing up, like we watched like the Cardinals and the Suns, and they all had like their own different eras. Like the Diamondbacks won the World Series when I was like 7. The Cardinals won the Super Bowl when I was a freshman in high school. The run and gun Suns and like middle school era was super fun, but just never felt like a huge attachment. Like I still have like Amari Stoudemire Orange Topps Chrome stuff. Like that's my favorite player. Tim Hightower Topps Chrome. He was one of my favorites. But yeah, I'm not a huge like pro team guy, but I'll watch like all of them every now and then, but just don't have that same connection like I do with like a Corona or Arizona.
What is your rationale for prioritizing gold or golds in general and patch autos instead of one of ones? I mean, I have a card on my desk that like I talked about a lot on this podcast, but this is the Jamie Newman Black Finite Prism 1/1, who was was one of the starting quarterbacks during my time at Wake Forest. And my rationale for targeting 1/1s is that for the guys that are really, really, really bad, it's not very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And that if I want to assert that I have like the greatest collection of all time, not to anyone, but just for myself and for our own ego, right? Like University of Arizona is a larger school, but if you can scrounge up to the 1/1 Arizona market, I just feel like the lower numbered, like the out of 150s, the out of 99s, the etc. are like dirt cheap to begin with. Mm-hmm. That it's way easier to stand yourself out with the one of a kind masterpieces.
Yeah, I just don't see them. Well, they don't have a lot of products, so like I have saved searches for them, but I just never see them. So gold, I think, is just a little bit more obtainable and fun. Yeah. And then patch autos, I'm very particular about like my patches. Like they need to be like chunky. Like yeah, like this is another one of my favorites. That was like a special whiteout jersey that they did.
Were you at the game?
I was at the game. Yeah, that was UCLA my sophomore year.
That's sick. I saw Stanley Johnson beat my high school when I was a sophomore in high school in the state title game. I thought he was the best player in the history of the world, dude.
I thought you on the Pistons? So gross. His wingspan is nutty.
Yeah. But yeah, just like this is like the Nike tags, like stuff like that.
I got my Clayton Thorson Leaf Metal 101 right here too, just to join the party of everyone showing off their college cards. See, but like Topps doesn't have a product like that. Like, what are they gonna do? What Bowman Dynasty or something? Like, I don't even know what it would be. Are they gonna try to make Inception that product with the patch autos?
Yeah, they could. I mean, Bowman Inception did have patches, so I guess they could. I feel like most of them were like napkin patches. I haven't seen, although actually Anthony Richardson had some like nasty like Gator logo ones, which was sick. But I feel like most of the ones like are pretty generic. But that would be nice to have a premier college product with patches, something that they had like earlier in the millennium. Then I don't know.
Yeah, Panini never did game worn college products though. Those are all event worn, right?
I think no, because I had a Gronk flawless game worn to 10.
That's pretty nasty.
Yeah.
Max, I saw, Max, that you actually flipped a Bowman U product card recently.
Yeah.
That I don't think you talked about on the podcast yet.
Yeah, I found the Kenny Pickett first Bowman Superfractor Auto 1/1 from 2021, which has the first Bowman logo. We found it in a random Facebook group at like 2,000 OPO. Just lowball. I didn't lowball. I was respectful. I offered 1,250 and it was accepted. And then I sold it before the card came in hand for 2,750. So that's going to pay for a few burritos at Chipotle on me next time.
Fuck yeah, that's sick. I always forget about you lurking on Facebook groups. Gabe, where do you buy cards mainly? Are you, and I know you sell a lot, but like where does your breakup for like where you buy versus where you sell?
Yeah, so I'd say most of, I guess, like my PC stuff, that's going to come from eBay just because it's so obscure. And honestly, it doesn't come a lot from like card shows, although I don't go to card shows in Tucson. Maybe that's a better environment to be in. But card shows, I would say, are definitely where I source most of my inventory. There's like 8 card shows a month in Phoenix. It's kind of ridiculous now at this point, and I'm shocked that like it's able to be supported. There are some that are obviously like not that great and not many tables, but for the most part, there's at least a solid one every single week. So back when it wasn't like college football season, I was basically grinding out card because ours are on Saturday. I don't know if that's like common, if most are on Sunday, I don't know, but Saturdays are always our card show days, and I would just grind out a show every single week. And then eBay, and then been getting into COMC a lot more for like the flipping side of things too. So kind of from all over. I don't do Facebook groups. I don't like, I don't know. It just doesn't look like intuitive to me, and just a lot of junk and just people posting like not for sale, not for trade. I'm like, all right, like I don't know.
It is extremely unintuitive, but that's where the beauty lies. It's because you're taking advantage, or rather taking advantage of the situation of that these people don't have incredibly large platforms, and it is not an ecosystem that is conductive to people getting reach and engagement. So that's where you can swoop on the deals that people may not actually see. That's my thesis, at least, and I think it is very annoying to manage, which is why I don't do it often.
And speaking of places Max does not go and buy or sell, Gabe, you're I think the first guest ever to say that they buy and sell on COMC. Can you give the people kind of your strategies you have with COMC and your success and any lessons you've learned since you started trying to do it?
Yeah. So, I mean, I tried at the beginning of the year, and that was a lot of learning for sure. Where it's just like, I just wasn't buying the right stuff. I was buying like the low end stuff and just like non-numbered or just not unique stuff where like, if someone else is going to ship their card to COMC, they're just going to undercut the next person, and just kind of becomes a race to who can get to the bottom first, basically. So that's the kind of stuff that I was buying, where now it's just like I'll scan the recently added a couple times a day. I think that's where you'll get a lot of the newer stuff that is maybe underpriced or just people haven't like picked over already. Very few times like I'll go back and I'll see like a card that's very niche that I'm like, oh, like that kind of works for me. I think there's opportunity there. So recently added, and I'm usually just looking for like autos and numbered stuff and things that are a COMC monopoly. So if I see that, even if it's like a low numbered, like to 25 blue camo, and I see there's 3 copies on there, I'm probably not going to touch it because it's like there's probably not a lot of room to grow on that. A trick that I have watchlist.com. So if you go to watchlist.com, you can type in, let's just say Trevor Lawrence optic, and then under $60, and then from the seller COMC consignment. So then from there, it'll show you how many watchers, basically what the most popular Trevor Lawrence card is, or how many watchers are on that item. So whenever I'm like trying to prospect on a player, so let's say my last one was Kyron Williams. So I would go to Kyron Williams from COMC seller, and I'll see his optic blue auto has 12 watchers. I'll probably go in on COMC now, try to make an offer on it, and then relist it. So I know that there's kind of interest that way. And so I can kind of see what the most popular cards are, what people are interested in, at least from an eBay perspective. Who knows how many watchers are on COMC, but that's been kind of my play, my secret sauce. Anytime I kind of look to buy, I'll go see what people are watching. And then from there, hopefully try to, usually if it's like over a good amount of watchers, I'm just going to buy it straight up and relist it and hope that I'm prospecting someone that I can make a play on.
I've never heard of that website though. That's pretty cool. I'll have to check it out after. Max is a skeptic of COMC. Max, what are some of your issues with it, so that we can kind of, I feel like Gabe has a good strategy. That's kind of, if you are looking to make money in COMC, that is a good way of doing it. Like, just stay away from anything that is remotely common, and the COMC monopoly is king for sure. But Max, what are some of your issues with it, or questions you have for Gabe about his strategies?
I don't like not having custody of the cards. I don't like having something overly niche. I think COMC does work favorably in that they are very private about their sales history, which is either good or bad depending on your perspective. I don't like their lack of advertisements on eBay and their mediocre scans on eBay, because many COMC cards will say, oh, it's listed on eBay. But I'm like, no, they're doing everything wrong from an SEO standpoint in order for your item to sell higher than what it should. And that's where I go back and forth. That being said, I've been doing some investigating on the eBay vault as of late, and I am intrigued by the 0% selling fees. And after 2024, starting in 2024, 3% buyer's premium. If it's really 10%, you don't have to pay any of your 13% fees by sending to the eBay vault. Maybe that is worth losing custody of your cards for. I don't know, but that raised an eyebrow.
Yeah, I know COMC recently has been coming out with these kind of like grading partnerships where you can grade cards through COMC. Gabe, did you try that out?
I have not. I'm skeptical of it just because you can't review it. Although I talked to somebody who had pretty good success for you're really seeing it blind. They do upload it in like a high def scan, I guess. And then there was one instance where he said that there was a pretty decent print line that just wasn't visible in the scan. They're like this one's pretty bad. We recommend not sending it. So there is some sort of, I guess, a review in a sense, to some degree. But yeah, I'm just very skeptical. Although I think there are some cards that I might give it a shot if I've just got some money in my account and I'm like, hey, this is kind of a big card. It's kind of been sitting. The scan looks decent. Maybe I give it a shot. But also grading is foreign territory to me. I just sent my first submission ever 2 weeks ago. So I just need a little bit of confidence to know what I'm looking at and what to expect. So
yeah, I know that buying vintage cards on COMC is kind of fun sometimes because there's huge ranges of condition, and I've bought some really cheap ones just because I'm like, well, I want to have a cheap version of this card. But yeah, I don't know if I would ever trust COMC. I know they've had RCR at COMC before as kind of a service. So I wonder if I bet you they'll put in some sort of RCR,
yeah,
or
that would be nice.
That seems like a service that would be easy money for them to add on.
Yeah. Also, what I do like about COMC is that it's just so instantaneous. So there were rumors all week about Bowman University, Tyler Buckner. He was in Notre Dame, or he was at Notre Dame, transferred to Alabama. Rumors all week that he was going to start. So I was just buying up, making offers, $15 for his autos. I was offering 8, 9, 10, got them all, sold them all for $20 a piece. And I never even saw the card. And it was just instant money. Otherwise, I'd have to buy it from eBay, wait for it. And at that time, he stunk so bad, those cards are worthless now.
But what are you doing with your COMC credit? Do you have end game cash out goals, or are you like just investing, reinvesting?
Yeah, it's just been reinvesting everything basically. Although right now, like I've had some big cards. Like one of my biggest flips was a Trevor Lawrence 1/1 printing plate from
Do share.
maybe, I mean, let's pull it up. It was a 1/1 printing plate. I saw this guy, he was having 50% off everything on his store. And so it was a 2022 Panini XR cyan printing plate. It was 50% off. And I went to watchlist.com. I saw there were 10 watchers on it at 270 whatever, because they upmarket to like account for fees, but it was only 125. So I bought it, relisted it for 210, and then it sold for 200 COMC credit back into my account. One of my best flips for sure. And so I've just had a lot of stuff sell right now and not a lot of stuff I've been buying. So this is like, I have 677 in my balance, which normally I usually have like 40 to 120 just in case I see something. But right now I just haven't. I've also been super busy, but I haven't been buying too much.
COMC rich.
Yeah.
Having COMC credit is fun.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
It is dangerous. Gabe, the new product, Bowman Chrome, who are the people to look out for as the correspondent? Who should people be looking out for if they're ripping or if they're trying to buy some singles on eBay?
Yeah, so this product, so they expanded the checklist. It's always been 100. This time they did it 200, and it's very low floor, very high risk, high reward, I would say. Like there's a lot of just like random guys in there, but then when you do get the top end guys, like you are going to hit pretty good on those. So I think right now, just with the landscape of college football, Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter are probably going to be the two biggest. Deion Sanders even has an auto, which is going to be sick. So that's going to be fun. Those are probably like the top three, like immediate, as long as, I mean, they've got Oregon and USC in the next 2 weeks. So we're really going to find out more. And that's unfortunately before the product releases. So if they can somehow at least split those or win both, like those would just go bananas. But I think those would be like kind of the top. And then depending on what you want, like NFL draft wise, like Drake May is a guy from UNC who Max will not like to hear about, but he's kind of like
watching his brother on UNC's basketball teams, or maybe it was cousin.
Okay. Yeah.
Does anyone remember the crazy March Madness runs that UNC went on?
Yes. Yeah. I can see his like face and like him running down the court, but I wouldn't know his name.
It was Spencer. No, it wasn't Spencer May. It was a different May. I'll get to the bottom of this.
Okay. Yeah. And so that Luke May. Yeah. That sounds right. So I think those three are going to be big. And then you've got Drake May, who some people think is like 1A, 1B with Caleb Williams for the #1 pick. So that'll be interesting. And then there's just a ton of other guys. Malik Neighbors is a wide receiver for LSU. A ton of defensive guys, Jared Verse, Braylon Trice. I mean, it's really got like a lot of good players from at the very top. Like basically every Marvin Harrison Jr., Emeka Ibuka, anybody who you would look up in like the mock draft 2024 first round pick, like they're probably going to hit like 20 to 25 of those guys in this product. So that's what makes it super fun too. And I'm personally excited about Arizona. Arizona has 3 guys, which again, kudos to Topps for like this checklist, because I think they did a great job including all the top stars. And then there's, I think, over 65 schools that are being represented, which I think is good because that gets more collectors, more people interested. And they hit 3 Arizona guys, which was awesome. And if you were to like ask me like who are the top 3 you would want to see, it would be those 3: Jaden Delora, Tetro McMillan, and Jacob Cowing. McMillan's probably going to be like a first round pick next year. Cowing's like a 2nd to 4th round. So those are like good names to actually hit. Like if you hit any of them as a non-Arizona fan, like you could have a good amount of upside on those. So super excited for just like the checklist. And then a couple others who are going to get, like Sam Hartman will be in his Notre Dame uni, which Max will not like, but there's a couple of transfers who will come out and now they're new jersey and a Bowman U product, not the first logo, but I found with even like JJ McCarthy being unlicensed and licensed this year, the first logo doesn't have too much significance. I feel like they're all kind of the same, at least in terms of 2021 versus 2022. 2023 now we'll see, but between like the unlicensed product with the first logo and then licensed product non-first logo, I feel like those kind of played out pretty evenly.
That's interesting. I hadn't even thought about that. Who have been the guys that have made you the most money out of the 2022 product?
That's a good question. I would say, gosh, there's a lot of guys. I would go with Mason Smith. He's been a defensive lineman at LSU, and he was one of the top recruits in the country. He tore his ACL the very first week of the season last year, but he was still been projected like a first round pick, like even with the injury. Came back as a sophomore, and he's just, I don't know, he's just been on the draft boards. He's like seen as like a freak of nature. So I think he's one of them. And then I honestly invested in a lot of Pac-12 quarterbacks, which I'm just very familiar with Pac-12 quarterbacks. And that's been, I don't know, sometimes I guess I'm biased towards that, but I felt when the product released, they had a lot of Pac-12 quarterbacks, and I just kind of went in on them. And I thought that they had a lot of good upside. So I'd say Cameron Ward has actually been probably my top. He's Washington State's quarterback, and his refractor autos were like $8-10 a piece. His lavas were like 15. His golds were, maybe 25 to $30. And he's had a fantastic season this year. He's top 5 in basically all passing categories. So made a good amount on him. Bo Nix was pretty hot for me in the preseason. He hasn't really had the limelight quite yet in terms of compared to, I guess, other quarterbacks, but he does have a good schedule coming up. If he does win, that'll be fun. And then Caleb Williams, I think, has been pretty steady to kind of flip and cycle through, maybe similar to like a Aaron Judge Ohtani, where it's like things are just always kind of pretty liquid on him and going up, and you can kind of get some good deals now and then. So I'd say Pac-12 quarterbacks, Cam Rising was a good one. Yeah, there's been a lot though, for sure.
No, that I feel like that product, like long term, is going to be potentially sweet if any of those guys really pop off. Max, have you dabbled at all besides your 101? Or I know you had your famous sealed wax.
Yeah, I was just about to explain that. So right when 2022 Bowman University was set to release, I thought, man, this product's going to be so good. You get to prospect the college players at the very least. There's going to be enough hype generated around it so where you can mess around. And I bought my boxes off Topps.com for $130 plus shipping each. I bought 5 or 6 of them. I held them for about 2 years. They dropped to $80 a box, and I had about a 40% loss per box.
You went in on the wrong product. How does the second year product with the license, has that been a sealed wax win for people? Or Gabe, do you know at all?
Those prices have kind of dropped too. So that started at 130 as well, and now they're about like 100. So kind of the same boat. So I'm curious to see, I don't know if that holds any long-term effect. If like Caleb Williams, like if he pops off in the NFL and #1 pick, if that has any effect. I mean, they've got a lot of the other guys like the Bryce Young and Anthony Richardson in there. But yeah, it's kind of dropped and kind of just stuck at that $99 level. And then this year's 2023 set on Topps, it released at $99 for the hobby box. So it'll be interesting to see where that fluctuates. I think with Colorado short term, that like resale and everything else on like David Adams and all those, it jumped to like 130 once that went on sale. So curious to see in the short term how much it spikes and then where it kind of settles in a year from now.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what that does, because my one Bowman U card for football I own is the one, Gabe, that you sent me. I have said this on the podcast, but I'll say it again. Ryan Helinski, the worst quarterback to ever receive a card in any product. Though that's probably going to change now that I'm seeing that there's a lot of these companies doing I don't know what the company is. I know it was on Card Collector 2's Instagram the other day of Ohio State had one, but it's like they're doing these NIL card packs at stadiums for many schools I've seen, and you're going to see a lot of companies kind of pop up. I know Leaf has been doing college cards for a while. But with the NIL stuff, I feel like there's definitely going to be kind of a new era of college cards. I know Press Pass was one that I'm a huge fan of collecting Press Pass cards from like the early 2000s. I think there's some pretty sweet sets from then. I know Gabe, we did a trade once for Andre Iguodala Arizona auto from Press Pass, I believe. But have you seen investigated any of the NIL cards from like kind of non-traditional products? And I know there's like Alabama Bowman U now and stuff like that too.
Yeah, so I saw I think it's On It is who created those Ohio State cards. So that'll be interesting. I know UW had like a team set last year as well that they handed out at like games. That at the time was Jalen McMillan's like only card. He's one of the best receivers in the country. And like there's maybe one or two listed for like $80 on eBay, I feel. And then there was a company called University All Stars, and they did like basically like custom like art cards, and they had like all these artists like create cards. And there was a guy from Arizona who was like in the set. I don't know how they found all these athletes, and I purchased it, and I waited like 8 weeks for it to come, and it never came. And then I reached out, and they're like, oh, waiting on players to like finish signing some of their cards, and then we're releasing. It was this whole ordeal for like 4 months, and it just never showed up. So I had them cancel my order. It would have been really cool if they actually like ever sent them out, but that was kind of a little pop-up. They would go to like the bowl games, and they had like their cards in one touches, and people would buy them. So that would have been super cool. And then Bowman U, the same thing with Tops, I guess. But I think a couple other schools are going to be getting that treatment with Alabama. So that'll be fun. But I haven't really explored or seen too many other NIL fund or whatever they call them, collectives, come out with any cards. But it would be fun to see what they do have.
Max, this seems like it's like minor league baseball cards a little bit. It could get deep into that kind of world.
Yeah, but it's Topps licensing and supporting the big brand schools. Time for a sports conference analysis moment. Gabey, what do you think of UCLA, Cal, and SMU joining the ACC?
Stanford and Cal.
No, I'm intentionally got that incorrect so that you could catch me.
Gotcha.
Very nicely done.
So I don't like it. I don't like the whole reorganization of all the conferences. Just kind of, I get it. Like money is going to motivate a lot of these programs and stuff, but I do like having at least everything in order from a regional perspective. And now we're just going all the way across the country. Arizona is now in the Big 12, and you'll have West Virginia and UCF and Cincinnati. Like, it just doesn't make sense for them. Now you've got the Big 10 with UW, Oregon, and Rutgers and Penn State, like literally as far as you can go. So the ACC, I guess for Stanford and Cal, it makes some, like if everyone's just going to blow regionality out of the water, then you might as well do it. I get it, because it was like academics. ACC typically has the higher academic programs, and you don't want to be one of the last four stuck without a conference, because now you're like Wazoo and Oregon State with the Pac-2, and now they don't know what they're going to do. They put a restraining order on the Pac-12, so like it temporarily has to stay. There was some legal stuff that happened like 2 weeks ago. So that'll be interesting, but like otherwise they're going to get demoted to like the Mountain West or something. I don't know what you do.
So wait, they're playing with like Pac-12 logos on their jerseys right now for those teams?
Yeah, so it won't happen until 2024. This is all like a year out in advance.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
A year is a long time.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But, well, fuck. I don't know. I grew up watching Pac-10 basketball, Pac-10 football, and watched a lot of those Cal teams with like Marshawn and Deshaun Jackson. I was actually at the game, the famous Tennessee Cal game where Deshaun had that kick, the punt return. That was one of the most nuts moments. And the animosity towards the SEC from the West Coast is is always very fun to be a part of. But now I guess I'm sure eventually, well, the SEC seems to be the one that's not changing really. Like everyone kind of wants to be a part of it. They haven't added anyone for a while, right?
So yeah, they're a lot more selective. So they added Texas A&M and Missouri like probably 10 years ago when like the Pac-12 became a thing. And then last year they agreed to add Oklahoma and Texas. So they waited 2 years. I don't know what the timing was there, but they'll be joining the SEC next year.
Oh, damn. I didn't know that. Well, Max, do you have any other questions for Gabey? I think it's time for eBay buys.
I kind of just got knowledge bombed, man, by all of that intellect that Gabey just gave me. I think it's time to roll in the buys.
Yeah.
I am a man of my word, and I was very fatigued after Dallas from all of my buying. I think I only had not even three buys, I want to say. Actually, no, it might just be two. I had two eBay buys in the past week that I don't think I covered. I bought a third Josh Giddey downtown raw. I think I did mention that, Tom. Are you shaking your head?
I don't know. I don't know. Every week it's a new Josh Giddey downtown.
Yeah, every week it's a new Josh Giddey downtown. This one was sealed, but it had a giant gash down the middle of the card. So I'm following the return on this one. I'm okay with PSA 8s. I'm not really okay with PSA 6s. So that's ugly. And we'll see what eBay does about that. And I bought a Christian Vaquero True Gold PSA 9 Bowman Chrome autograph. It's Bowman season. We're getting into it real quick, and it's about to hit us fast.
Do you have any guys you're keeping an eye out on in the new Bowman Chrome product?
The three guys that if I had an S&P or whatever, if I had $1 billion, I would put money into these three guys being worth more money in March than they are now. It's Jackson Holiday, Roman Anthony, and Junior Caminero. Those are the guys. Those are the guys the football head wants. Those are the guys your basketball tards want. Like, they're killing it right now.
And Gabe, you do some Bowman, right? Are you keeping an eye on anyone?
No, yeah, not so much anymore. I just kind of got burned out of it just because I was like, it's just kind of like throwing darts. Phoenix is weird because like there are so many in-person graphers. Like they'll go wait at the facility all day and then they'll go lay out their paper and chrome first cards on their table. So that's who I would know who's like kind of hot. And then I would just go buy like their actual autos or color or whatever. But then I was just like, just kind of got old for me, and I don't have an interest in like baseball as much as anything else. Austin Wells, before he got called up, I was like always buying into him because he went to Arizona, then he got called up and sold basically everything that I had on call up.
Nice. Max, have you had any sales on eBay lately? Are you been flipping any of the things you've been buying? Any big flips from Dallas that you can report back on?
I had a fun flip from Dallas that I just did today. I bought an SGC1 Satchel Paige 1953 Topps. I bought it for $375 and I sold it for a net of $420. So that's going to cover a lunch or two. That's where your meat and potatoes are, and that's what needs to get done if you want to. So you just the small deals where you're churning and where you're winning.
Nice. Love to see you winning, Max, as always. Sometimes
I win, sometimes I don't.
Gabe, it's been 64 episodes, but now it's officially your time to talk about your latest eBay buys. You can also, obviously, it's a flexible game. You can expand it to other platforms if you like.
Okay. So eBay, I haven't been buying too much just with football season. I'm just like proceeding on the side of caution of just like who I'm buying and what I'm buying. Also saving for Bowman University, going back to like the 1 of 1, like I might throw a B word out for the 1 of 1 for my Arizona guys. If anybody sees those, that's going to be interesting. So I'm kind of just saving my money for that. But won a gold Prism Draft Picks auto of Scooby Wright to 10 for $9.99. There were 2 watchers. I was the only starting bid at $9.99. So that was fun. And then over the last week, I was inspired by Card Collector 2. He had like his top 50 1 of 1s from Ohio State. And I was like, wow, that's insane. But started going down a rabbit hole. Bought 2 cracked ice collegiate contenders autos. Caleb Jones from Arizona. He was a transfer from Texas and went to the Eagles for a little bit. And then a Bay Area kid for you, Brandon Ashley. He has 2 cracked ice. One is like a variation where he's like it's not a great photo. He's like jumping and like passing, but then this one's like him just dribbling the ball up court. So I like that photo a lot more.
Brandon Ashley went to my high school actually, and then for 2 or 3 years, and then transferred to whatever that Bishop Gorman or whatever that's or
Bishop O'Dowd.
Well, yeah, I went to Bishop O'Dowd. Brandon Ashley was there for a few years, and then he went to transfer to some other school.
Finley Prep.
Finley Prep, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Okay,
so love to see that. That's a fun one. How much was that?
$9.
$9. Damn. All right. Is that his only card, kind of?
Yeah, he has a couple of national, and I don't know, he's got a couple national treasures, and it's like to 49 and 99, but all of them are just like red napkin patches. And so it's like very uninspiring for me. Yeah. So like I have saved searches for like his national treasures, hoping like a 25 or to 10 pop up with a nasty patch, but no luck. So that's it. And then a little Bowman best auto, JC Latham gold auto for $9. Any Bowman University gold auto, like under $15 to $20, I'm going to buy it now if they're like on a decent track to the NFL draft or just like have decent upside. He's an offensive lineman for Bama. He should go in the first round. And then Rob Gronkowski Prism draft picks red to $2.99. Got that for all in, let's see, $2.76. So I'll throw that in a red Arizona binder page.
Nice. Well, it's going to be harder for you to collect reds in Bowman Chrome, you know?
Yes, that I'm terrified for. But again, that's why I'm saving my money. The 101 red shimmers, I think, and then gold. I think that's where I don't know if I want to do the rainbow. We'll see. It is going to be somewhat cheap, but to do like the smaller, like aqua wave, green shimmer, and some other ones. But the 101, the red shimmer, and probably the blues as well for a color match, and then golds.
Yeah, I did go down the rainbow path with my Boo Buoy from 2021 Bowman University basketball. He is basically the best basketball player in the history of Northwestern for whatever. No one's gonna argue with me on this one, but it is unlicensed. I do hope he didn't get a card in the latest Bowman Chrome basketball in the second year, so this could be his only one. I hope he gets some sort of NIL deal with some other cards because, we're a basketball school now, Gabe, at Northwestern, in case anyone didn't know that yet. So it's been fun, though. I've gotten red. The red cost me like $30. You can do rainbow hunting for guys that aren't going to be like first round draft picks in these products for a pretty good amount. But you are going to have a harder time with the reds, though, I will have to say. But the Prism red out of $2.99 is much more attainable, I feel like. And I don't know.
And I'd rather have that than the orange wave to 60.
Yeah, exactly. I was actually going to ask you this. So we were talking before, Gabe, about how college collectors have maybe even more of a preference for the team color match than like normal, professional sports teams collectors. Max, I know team color match has been a topic on the podcast before, but Gabe, what's your experience with the team color match? I know you try to keep your Arizona non-patch autos to just the reds, right?
Reds and golds, yeah. So I just like it just because it's just like consistent and just matches and looks good and has good eye appeal. And then I think, just as a collector, I don't know. I think team color is like a cool thing. I don't know. I feel like college colors and everything just like means a little bit more in like the aura of being a fan. I don't know. So I always prioritize, like if a red to $2.99 is $10 and a orange wave is to 60 for $10, the economics would tell me to just buy the 60, but like the collector would be like, no, like I'd rather have the red.
Yeah. What percent of the superfractor would you pay for a red? Or have you thought about that so far for your Arizona guys?
I have not. It really, I would just need to hope that I just see a buy it now for the super and I just snipe it. I don't want it to try to go to auction because then that's when I'm like, I have no clue what the market would really go on that. Maybe I end up getting a better deal, but that just makes me nervous. So I'm just going to try to get all my safe searches and just check them like a madman and hope I don't get to a situation where I've got to, I don't know. I feel like if it's just reason, I don't know. It depends. I'd have to see like how the market reacts to the autos and then kind of go from there. And some of the other color, I guess, but it does terrify me, especially having 3 guys. 3 guys is going to be tough.
Yeah. Are you going to enter any breaks or anything? You're ripping, right? A few boxes?
Yes. I pre-ordered 4 boxes. I told myself if they're 130, I'll get 2 boxes. I think that's just a good amount for me. I don't rip retail or anything or hobbies ever. If it was like 180, which I kind of thought it was going to be, I was like, I'll just do 1 box. When I saw it was 100, I just snap bought 4. I just thought that was too much value to like a hobby box for $100. Like, where are you going to get that these days? You know? So I just thought that was a good deal and I might as well rip 4 if I like the product that much. And so I don't know, I could do breaks for sure, but I feel like in the long run, like Arizona, those prices, like with McMillan being a year out from the draft, I don't think I have to worry about him too much. And like Jacob Cowing, I think like he would be good to prospect, but I don't think like people are really going to be on him. And then Jaden DeLora, he'll be interested. Like he's your ultimate like feast or famine quarterback. Like he'll throw you into a game, but he'll also throw you out of it and just like try to play hero ball. So I don't think he would have like a huge market, but I think I could probably be, I mean, it also depends on the break price, I guess. I'd be curious to know what the market values that at as well. And if it's worth it, then I might just throw into every single break I see.
Yeah, that will be fun. You're gonna, I assume, film you opening these boxes. I know you've gotten super active on YouTube lately. Give people the thesis of your YouTube channel and what sort of content they can find there?
Yeah, so I mean, I've just started my YouTube channel like honestly probably like 2 years ago just to record my card show pickups. And that was mostly like a documentation thing for me of just like being able to go back and see like, oh, what did I pick up? What was my thought process? How much did I pay? And then like in May of this year, I had like a crazy weekend of sales. I sold like 30 cards. That was crazy for me for like 400, $500. And I was like, oh, I should like record everything and just like, I don't know, it just uploaded on YouTube. I maybe had like 40 subscribers. I'd get like 20 views on a video. And then this one was like how much money I made selling sports cards on eBay. And then I had like 1,000 views in the first day and like 3,000 in the first week. I had like over 200 subscribers after that week. And then things kind of took off. And then I just started recording. Luckily, like I had a card show like in 2 days. So like that got more traction. And I found a 1 of 1 in the dollar box. It was a printing plate. So I said, I found a 1 of 1 in the dollar box, and that did numbers. And then I also found a Kyle Trask Red Stars optic in a $2 box. So I was able to say, I got this $2 card and sold it for $100. And so like the algorithm just like threw me into this whirlpool where I was just moving and I was going 200, 300, 400, 500 subscribers. And now I'm like just shy of 2,000. I've posted every single day since like that very first video because I was like, I just need to take advantage of this momentum that I'm in with this algorithm. But mostly just my mail days coming in, my everything that I'm selling, going out, card show pickups, card shop pickups. That's pretty much the bulk of it. I'm going to try to switch things up just because like that's pretty much all that my content is. So I do want to like switch it up and try some other stuff. We'll see what that entails. I don't know if it's like vlog style stuff. I've kind of been like scared of that just because like, I don't know. I just like don't want it to do well and like switch things up. But I'm also kind of over it where it's like, I don't care if it doesn't do well. Like I might as well just try it. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I've posted every single day and just all my activity of cards basically for the last like 3-4 months.
Yeah, sweet. The algorithm is wild. And if you can catch the right neurons in the brain and get the dopamine to hit quite right with the title, then you can really pop off quick. Max, how's your experience on TikTok been for the first time? You had some.
I am clueless on how to use any form of short form content, and I'm against short term content as it brainwashes the youth. But you got to play the game to win the game.
you don't even know, but you're popping off on the Young Old Heads TikTok. I've been super active on the last
That's
month.
correct. I don't even know.
All these videos of Max are just getting all these comments now. I'm hoping that Max can become TikTok famous without him even knowing it. That's my goal with it. All right, my buys for the week. I'm officially in on Bobby Witt Jr. I bought a black parallel out of 72 of his gold cup for $40 on YouTube. Nice. I bought a 2011 Jason Hayward Gold Cup red complete set pack variation out of 245 for $10 with $4 shipping. And this guy had this card up for 4 months on eBay, and I had watched it go down from $30 to $14, and then I offered $10 after he had rejected a offer from me like of $15 like 2 months ago. So that's a nice little win there. All right, well, Max, with the knowledge that I bought the Bobby Witt paper black out of 72 gold cup for $40, what do you think the Topps Chrome silver/blue wave out of 75 cost me?
Remind me what year?
2023. So these are both the gold cups. The black flagship was $40. The silver blue wave chrome out of 75.
Like the silver blue wave?
I'll show a picture of Gabe, do you know these parallels?
No, I feel like that's like Blu-ray wave or something.
That's a $60. No, that's a $35 card.
$16.
I like that more.
Yeah, dude, basically the same rarity out of 72, out of 75. One's chrome, and it cost under 50% of the paper, which is kind of wild. So that was fun. I bought a Juan Soto. Wow, I just have been buying all the gold cups. I'll do I bought a Monte Ellis nasty logo patch. Not logo patch, but 3-4 color patch out of 25 for $8. I was extremely hyped about that. Monte does not have a ton of patches that I see up for sale often. It's also the new uniform because he played obviously in like the We Believe uniforms, but this was like the Steph era uniform. So thought that was pretty sweet. It's kind of all I got for the week though. I had a hate rip decided today that I really wanted to rip something, and then my Target was absolutely rated, and all it had was like Panini football, which I refuse to rip retail Panini football. I just can't do it. So I ripped a Metal Universe blaster just because I love trying to rip for Tiger Woods cards sometimes. There's a lot of college guys in that product too. Like these guys, like Caleb Williams is going to have a bajillion cards by the time he debuts, Gabe, I feel like.
Yeah, he will. He'll be in a lot of sets.
And
but, I mean, are you tired of the pump? Are you ready for the pump even though it hasn't even begun?
What do you mean? I feel like Caleb Williams is just like you buy into the first cards if you're going to do anything. Like don't there is even like National Trading Card Day Bowman U packs. That's what I got because
I'm saying get ready. I'm ready for the pump. Are you tired of the pump before the pump happens?
You were trying to pump the first product, and that didn't go very well for you.
I wasn't trying to pump. I was making a play, and it didn't work.
Yeah, that's like your Topps finest basketball play too.
It was like a month apart from it.
You really took those were tough.
Do you have a secret like Caleb Williams stash, Max?
No.
Are you going to?
Yeah.
No.
Do you get there, Max? Do you ever buy college cards like in value boxes, or do you just always skip over those if you see them?
I skip over them because like the pro unis sell better.
Yeah, fair enough. Not even no school you found sells well or anything like that.
I honestly haven't tried, but like
I know our boy
$5 for like an out of 50 college uni when I could pay $5 for a sunny gray, purple out of 250. I'd rather do that, even though I don't want to pay $5 for that either.
Yeah, fair enough. Gabe, are there any schools that are like weirdly, like what college schools collect the most?
For me right now, Michigan, like anything Michigan right now is just moving. And I mean, this is supposedly their year to kind of win everything. Ohio State, of course, always does well. But I'd say those two are usually pretty high for me. Card Collector 2 always says Iowa does really well, and I don't necessarily buy a lot of Iowa guys, I feel like, but I think that could be a sneaky one there. But I would say Michigan has easily been like anything Michigan you can get at auctions and then relist it, buy it now, and make money right now.
You've thrown a lot of nice fun tips out here for us, Gabe. Tell people where they can find you during the week if they have any questions about anything.
Yeah, Gabey Card Stacks on everything. Instagram, well, Twitter, I'm like the most active. Instagram, I'm trying to get better about Instagram, or at least like stories. I don't like necessarily like posting. I should probably start posting more. Just started a TikTok that's just kind of there. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I really appreciate having you on. I feel like there's a lot of good discussions were had here. Max gets to have a break from telling all of his stories of what he was going on, because last week, I mean,
I'm in
really
for
put
a
the team on
treat.
your back. What did you say, Max?
This is a treat having Gabriel Card Stacks on the pod.
I know it's a long time coming. I'm happy it happened. Episode 64. When Bowman Chrome comes out next year, we might have to have the correspondent back on to talk about who to look for, who to buy, and do some reflecting on this product, because interested to see if the Colorado hype lives up and the product booms like it could. I'm excited to see that. And props to Tops. Hey, Fanatics gets a lot of hate. The fact that they're putting this product out at a time that actually makes sense with the season, I think, is awesome. And I'm interested to see how it goes, because you gotta have these guys' cards ready to go during the playoffs and stuff. I feel like for anything to be relevant, you can't be doing something in February when the season's over and no one cares anymore necessarily. So any final thoughts, Max, for us here?
You have to play the game to win the game. And one day I'm going to run out of numbers to count.
I hope that one time someone puts all your last thoughts together into like one intro for us, and then that'll be amazing. Anyway, we'll see you guys next week. Peace out.